Hi all. Right. So on TikTok, I would have posted a video letting people know what was going on with me. I would have previously posted a video on YouTube, right? And I started getting a heart attack. What seemed to be a heart attack, which I've been getting throughout life and particularly throughout the past year and a half, right? When I say specific things that people don't want me to see out loud, right? Anyhow, and that attack was continuing until I actually delete the video, and then it stopped, right? So the timing of it is like so on point, right? So my heart would start going off, and the minute I just click delete, right, it just gone, right? Anyhow, I am here to complete this task and to complete it, right? I'm here to complete this task, right? Once and for all, because it's something that people do not want me to do, and it's a goal that I have, and it's not bothering anybody else. It is something that can help the Caribbean people on their spiritual journey, right? So I was speaking about mimicry, right? The art of mimicry, right? Mimicry being one of the coping mechanisms that our ancestors would have had to use in the past, right, in order to treat with or in order to deal with the act of being brought here, packed like sardines in a tin, right? Packed like sardines in a tin and placed on a ship, right? And if you are ill, if you got ill on the boat, you just get thrown overboard and discarded like you're absolute trash, right? So the nature of the Atlantic slave trade, the British slave trade, right? Being brought stripped of culture, family, community, all these things, and being brought to the Caribbean, right? A new place, a faraway land, and having to make your way from scratch, right? Being brought here, being abused, being used, being chained, being whipped, right? To do unpaid labor, right? And I was talking about resurfacing this collective memory because feeling is the only way that we can heal, right? Feeling. I would have gone through this process with regard to indentureship in 2018 or so when I did my autoethnography, right, which is an in-depth self-study based on self and culture and so on, right? And I also blended it with spirituality to a bit, right? So I am using that technique, right, to assist my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean to self-heal as well, right, by triggering the collective memory, and not just in one ethnicity, but a collective memory with us all, right? A collective memory, because feeling is the only way, right? Feeling is the only way that we could truly heal, right? To navigate this healing journey, or it depends on the triggering of certain emotions on you so that you could release those emotions, so that those emotions do not hamper you, right, from forward progression in your life, right? So those emotions that do not trigger you to react in certain ways when certain things happen or certain things are said to you, right? It happens to me, I must say, right? Up to this point in my healing journey, if somebody says certain things to me, it's triggering, right? So we're trying to get to the point where we can feel everything, experience everything, right? That's stuck in our collective memory that is hampering us from moving forward, right? That is the goal, to resurface these collective memories, process it, deal with it, cry about it, let it out, right? Through talking, through crying, through remembering, right? And navigating this social and cultural journey so that we can move forward into into progressing into a spiritual journey now, right? So I'm using my life journey, my life story, because this is how it's been for me. I've been navigating for all my life. I've been navigating a socio-cultural journey, right? In terms of establishing who I am and my Caribbean identity, right? Establishing who I am and my Caribbean identity, right? And subsequent to that, after having healed myself in a socio-cultural way, right? After having healed myself in a socio-cultural manner, right? And reaffirming my identity as in my Caribbean identity, because I want to be secure, right? I want to feel safe and secure in the place that I currently am at, right? It is necessary, I believe, wherever you are in life, wherever physical location you are, right, that you establish a sense of identity in this space, right, or create your own space by being who you are, by navigating this authentic self journey, right, and reaffirm. At least this is how I am navigating mine, and it might help others to do so if you feel connected like I do, right, in this manner, right? So if I could help one person with this, people who are struggling with identity, local identity, Trinidad identity, a British identity, right? Because I'm having to navigate now, right, currently, being Indo-Trini, being Caribbean, and now I am in England, right? So it's a lot of different dynamics. Is a beautiful experience, but is also something to navigate in terms of your identity, right? And in my past and stuff, I've come across people who be like, okay, well, yeah, the identity is not important in this way, in the social way, find the identity and God and whatever. I understand, son, right? I understand what that means. But part of who I am, right, in the 3D physical reality, that is important to me as well, right? That is important to me as well, because I see culture and I see social relationships, and I see these dynamics as a beautiful thing, right? I see these things as an actual beautiful thing, right? And identity is something that I have a strong affiliation to, right? In both the socio-cultural sense and in the spiritual sense. And I am very certain of who I am in both, right? I am very certain of who I am both on the 3D realm, and I am very certain of who I am in the spiritual realm, right? I am affirmed in my identity in God, and I am affirmed in my identity, my Caribbean identity, right? And I am affirmed as in my identity as a citizen of the universe and a citizen of the world, right? I am certain of who I am at this point in life, right? So at every level, right? So I don't know why people don't want me to move forward in this in completing this project. I don't know why people are trying to block me in the spiritual or whatever. This is an important project for me, right? And I will be completing this project regardless of what anybody thinks, does, or says, right? I've presented the work from all angles, from the perspective. I've presented so far from particular perspectives with regard to ethnicity and things. And today, when I presented from another perspective, I started to experience this attack, right? From the perspective of our ancestors having to endure this trauma, right? That was the angle I presented from today, and I started to experience the attacks, right? And my point is really to demonstrate different angles, right? To demonstrate different angles. And today was actually the first day when I started speaking, like truly delving into that, activating that pain, so that it could trigger the emotions of people, so they could start to heal from the journey, right? They could start to heal from their journey, in their journey, right? As Caribbean people. And for some reason, I don't know why people do not want me to proceed with this. But anyhow, this journey that we are on, this journey that I am on, I understand that at every angle that I present might have people going tizzic, right? Might have people going a little crazy because like I have the ability to see things from multifaceted angles, right? Which not many people actually have the ability to do because people just see things tunnel vision from their view, their perspective, and so on, right? But I actually have the ability to look at things from different angles, right? So so from one angle, people might be watching me and saying, oh, well, how is she talking about that? She not in place to talk about that. Or she don't have the experience to talk about that, right? Listen, I am a citizen of the Caribbean. I am a citizen of the world. I am a keen observer. I feel deeply, right? There are certain insights that I have attained that not many people know about, right? And I do have the capacity to utilize a couple of my brain cells, right? Which not much people apparently have the capacity to do, it seems, in this day and age, right? Not boasting or anything, but I have the capacity to use a couple brain cells, right? And I've been using these couple brain cells, I've been creating and weaving together a spiritual sociology, and nobody is going to stop me from completing it. As I was saying, nothing and nobody could stop what on earth is currently happening, right? Nothing and nobody could stop what on earth is currently happening, and no amount of rain, no amount of sun, nothing could stop the completion of this task. And there's nothing, and I will not be removing myself from this earth until I see it through, until I see through everything that I actually incarnated on this earth to do, right? I will not be removing myself, nor will I have anybody removing me from the earth, right? Until I see through everything that I actually incarnated in this time period to do, right? You all want to send me heart attacks, right? Send me heart attacks when I actually talking about the experience, the past experience of my Caribbean people, so that I could help them heal using universal wisdom, right? You all want to help, you all want to send heart attacks for that. Imagine that. It goes to show what kind of people you all are, right? At the core, rotten to the core, right? And it goes to show too, now, this didn't happen on purpose. I didn't do this on purpose, right? Well, what happened is that in my previous videos, I would have presented first from the angle of having colored people take responsibility, right, for the things that happened in their past. And that was my first angle of presenting, right? And not a single heart attack was sent my way, right? Not a single attack was sent my way when I was talking about colored people taking on full accountability for their own lives. Let's listen carefully to what I'm saying. When I spoke from the angle of colored people, us taking full accountability for our lives, not a single attack was sent my way. The first day that I actually introduced the experience, from which I probably should have been talking about from the start, but I believe in personal responsibility, and so I would watch black people in their face and tell them to get over it because it is in the past, and I will watch Indian people in their face and tell them to get over it, it is in their past, right? I could do that, right? And take full responsibility for your actions, right? I believe in full responsibility, right? But there are some people who are unable to do this because they still have past traumas that they are carrying. So to help these colored people, right, which is majority probably, to help people actually release those past burdens, I've started to present from this angle in terms of helping you all to resurface your past pain, to release it, right? And because probably certain other races or ethnicities would have an issue with what I'm saying, I started to receive attacks for this, right? It is no lie that the trade was a British slave trade, right? It is no lie that white people would have considered black people as biologically and psychologically inferior, That is not a lie. That is actually an objective reality, right? And the psychological impact of generations of this, right? It is no lie that society regards people who have a higher color as a higher status, right? It is slowly changing, right? And with the left-wing movement, which I don't agree with, they completely switch the script and go on all crazy, right? I don't subscribe to them either, and I don't subscribe to the right either, right? But it was clear after that attack and after seeing some of the videos and stuff that you all made, chosen ones, after I presented from our angle, right? It was clear that some of you all actually was offended, right? You all was offended, right? So that's fine. It just probably means that you all need to take a look in the mirror and actually acknowledge we're not asking for no repatriation. Like I always say, I never ask for no damn repatriation, right? We're not asking for no repatriation in this generation. We're not asking you all for no money. We're not asking you all for anything, right? But at least it is worth one thing, and that one thing is simply just looking yourself in the mirror, and it's not from a position of making anybody feel guilty, right? We have already acknowledged that, hey, we need to take personal responsibility for that which happened in the past, right? So it's not a one-way street, right? It's just simply to acknowledge, hey, my ancestors would have done certain things to the entire region, right? And this may be the reason why people are carrying past traumas, right? This may be the reason why people are carrying generational traumas. And so it might be worth it. And in the same way we are carrying these generational traumas, you all are carrying generational traumas, because I can't imagine what it might be like to have ancestors who inflicted and whipped and chained, right? A whole societies of people, whole communities of people, whole generations of people, right? What must it be like for you? And all we want for you to do is to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, maybe the reason for the past X amount of years I have been talking to my partner, I have been talking to the entire world. Maybe the reason I've been lashing out and talking to the entire world like all of us are complete trash, right? Maybe it's because I have inherited some issues, and I have unresolved issues, right? I have unresolved issues, right? To whom it may concern. This is all we are asking you to do. So look yourself in the mirror and say, maybe I inherited some shitty behavior, right? My ancestors would have probably engaged in abuse, and I inherited some of that abusive tendencies, and maybe it is time to look myself in the mirror and change, right? That is all we are saying. We don't want nothing else, right? We're not asking, we don't want to patronize, and we don't want no university fees off because we are colored, right? We already know our worth, right? We know our worth. We know our inherent worth, right? We don't want patronizing. We don't want nobody to feel sorry for us, right? We know our worth and we know our strength, right? What we are simply asking is a simple acknowledgement, right? Acknowledgement that, hey, this happened in the past, we are taking responsibility. Can you all meet us halfway? Going on to our actual topic for today. Sad to say I had to give all our runaround story for the dumb sheep out there and all ethnicities, right? We're talking about correlation, right? Continuing with research and statistics and talking about correlation, right? Correlation meaning the relationship, and examine as a statistical technique, and it deals with examining the relationship between two things, right? It deals with examining the relationship between two factors, right? If one thing changes, how does this lead to the change in another thing? If one thing changes, how does this affect the change in another factor, right? So let us take the example of exercising and Or let's see, it's a better example to use. Number of hours spent sitting on the couch watching TV, right? Number of hours spent on the couch watching TV and weight gain, right? You could use that as an example, right? So if we were to conduct a study and use correlation as a statistical analysis, right? We can examine if there's a relationship between these two things, right? We could use a study, we could do a study and examine the relationship between these two factors, right? So we could plot it on a graph, right? If you all did basic maths, you all will know what I'm talking about, the y-axis and the x-axis. And in the y-axis, you have number of hours spent sitting on couch, and on the x-axis, you have number of pounds gained, right? From this period to that period or whatever, right? And if you do a study, you could actually examine the relationship, if there's a relationship at all, and how strong that relationship is. Is there a relationship between number of hours spent on the couch and the amount of weight I gain within a year, within a month, right? So you can examine if there's a relationship and then examine how strong is this relationship, right? How strong is our bond, right? How strong is this relationship between number of hours spent sitting on the couch and number of pounds gained, right? Now that was an example. Let's go to the real life situation, right? Let's go to the real life situation, which is the point of this whole video, right? So we are linking spiritual law to research, spiritual law to sociology, right? So we are talking about, on the y-axis, we are plotting, right? On the y-axis, we are plotting number of moral actions I can engage in. That's on the y-axis, and on the x-axis, the amount of freedom I feel or I experience, right? And you will notice, right, because this is tested and proven, right? You will notice that as I increase in taking moral action, right? As I increase in taking moral action, I feel a greater sense and experience a greater sense of freedom. As the more people increases that teach moral action, the collective benefits in terms of the collective freedom, right? And this is why we are here advocating, right? We might not like each other, but admit that we have a bond that is unlike any other, right? We might not like each other, but admit that we have a relationship, a correlation, right? That is unlike any other, right? So the more people engage in moral action, the more collective freedom you will experience. The more people teach moral action, right? The more collective freedom we experience. The more you engage, the more a single person engage in moral action, the more individual freedom that we experience. It is a direct, positive, strong correlation. La 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 la. La la. बन जाओ मीत मेरे, मेरा गीत अमर कर दो. ला 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 ला, मेरे प्रीत अमर कर दो.